right, Stripes. Looks like we have. All 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 right, Stripes.
Just mute
Looks
Twitch.
like we have.
I'll make it
All right,
easy.
Stripes. There you go. Perfect. That should work it a little bit better. Got the number 2 and the number 3 seed here. Merciless Esports Rebels and the Midnight Gaming Direwolves.
Indeed, it's going to be the Direwolves on the red side for this one. Remember, now that we're in playoffs, it is the it is the best of 3 series. So it's not just going to be a one and done like the regular season. And it will be loser's choice on side selection. So whichever team loses will get to choose, do they want blue or red side. So it's going to be fun to see what these teams can put up in a series instead of just best of ones.
Absolutely. I've been seeing it throughout the season. These teams are playing each other really close, and you were mentioning, Stripes, that you casted their games a couple weeks ago, and
yes, I did.
I believe it was a barn burner. I watched it. It was a great cast, by the way.
Thank you very much. It was a really good game to watch too. Both teams were pretty close. If I'm not mistaken, the Rebels did come out on top of that one, but the Direwolves immediately turned around and actually beat you, which that was also a really good, really fun game to cast, a really close one as well.
That's right. That's right. We played them, and yeah, we're frequent scrim partners as well, so that our teams know each other quite well. This is a team in the Direwolves that has existed in some iteration over, I believe, the last year and a half, that sort of range. And so they bring members in and out, but they were a part of other leagues prior to this. So it is a team that has played with each other well. And I just have to mention that the jungler on the Direwolves is a different player. I believe that is their backup player, not their traditional jungler.
Indeed. So before we really get into the game, this is with the new items. So what's your take? Who do you think's coming up in the power rankings? Or is there anyone that has completely fallen out of the meta? Anyone that just stormed right back or whatever? Or with these new item changes? What's your opinion on it?
Well, I'm gonna go straight to the numbers for all you folks, and I'm bringing this up on stream. But here are the highest win rates now in patch 10.24. Kale is number 1. No surprise there. She's been playing top and mid. Yeah.
Kale's level 16 power spike has changed to her level 11 power spike.
Yep.
That is a devastating thing. I had a game where I was playing with a Kale. All I knew is I got her fed, got her to 11. She was basically 1v3, 1v4 consistently. It was very, very interesting to see and very nice to get some free LP off of it.
My most recent game with a Kale started 0-4 and losing first tower top, but we just delayed the game, ended up carrying the entire game despite doing the worst in laning phase, ended up being the strongest at the end of the game. Anyways, I'm sure the players that are listening all have a Kale story of recent, but
of course,
who's also showing up big when I'm just looking at these U.GG stats is Nunu, being the highest rated jungler, but actually has no bad matchups right now in Plat Plus throughout the world. He currently has a positive win rate against every other jungler right now at the highest levels around the world. So that's pretty dominant.
That is pretty dominant, but my little hesitation with Nunu is he thrives in chaos too. When you have teams that work together well, teams that have been practicing each other like what we have right now, I'm kind of hesitant when it comes to will we see a Nunu pick? Because he thrives in the chaos. Teams that work well together can use that synergy and use that teamwork to help shut down a Nunu. Also, I do gotta say, Silas is a really good counter to Nunu. Not in the jungle though. Play him in mid or top so he can actually get the farm. But if you play Silas and steal a Nunu ult, oh boy, that is fun.
Absolutely, because you're bringing a whole lot of AP to it. But in
Indeed.
general, to answer your question, generally it was the tank meta to begin. The first couple of patches, you saw Mumu leading the charts for that
Just
first
got
patch.
hotfix nerfed.
Exactly. Right. I believe the W got some damage reduction on it, and much needed. Put him back towards the middle of the pack. But I thought the most recent patch was a really good one because it fixed a lot of the initial broken items, like the Sunfire Aegis.
Basically every AP item, too. Basically every AP item was some degree of busted, and some of them still are. Some very interesting picks that I am interested in how teams are going to come up with is Kindred, because for those who remember, Kindred was very, very strong come the end of Season 10. But come preseason, like, you scroll down the list, her win rate is somewhere around the 45% mark. That's because people are building Kindred differently. They're building because the best Kindred build I have seen is not a standard ADC build. You're not going ADC items. You go a couple of crit items, but it's only Lord Dominic's and Collector. So I want to see if Kindred does show up. Will they go with this build? Will they go with the build where you go Collector, Triforce, Ravenous Hydra? Because I played a few games with it. Oh my god, it's strong. It is probably the best build for Kindred. So once people start catching on and stop building Kindred like a traditional marksman and start building her this way, I have a feeling that Kindred is going to shoot right back up the win rate charts.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Once you get that Triforce, you can get on your way. It's just getting that first item. You have
You
to
actually
be able to
rush
do that
Collector is
before.
actually the first item you build on that.
Neat.
Helps with your jungle clear too, because once they get low enough, instead of having to spend an extra auto attack, it just executes them.
That could help in some
And
cases.
plus, it helps a little bit early on with that lethality you get from the serrated dirt portion of Collector, as well as we get into pick and ban. Very interested to see what these teams will come out with. I do know Panzer does have a lot of atypical, but what's the proper word? Atypical, but
Effective.
viable champions in the bot lane, specifically Shen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last game we played against them, they played the Shen, and he's has a good Shen. Also a good Rakan as well.
But we're not going to see it, as actually the Direwolves are the ones to ban it out. The Rebels with their first ban are going to ban Ornn. It looks like it's going to be some top lane bans.
Yep.
Those some reliable Season 10 picks. I think that both of these champions are still really good in the meta, which is why they're getting shown so much respect. And the Kayn ban would be surprising in Season 10, not so much Season 11 or preseason 11, because if you look right behind the chart on the stream, you can see where Kayn sits. 54.77 win rate, third highest in the entire game. He is pretty strong, and that's not with a small sample size. Look, 107,000 matches, a 10.6% pick rate. That is not small numbers by any means.
And then we were just talking about it, the Kale being taken away. I believe that's against Yukimoto in the mid lane. I don't believe Reverse plays the Kale, but he does play the Malphite, so that has gotten through Champion Select. So we're going to see, do the Direwolves want to go? No, they're going to ban it. They're going to ban one of their own champions.
This is interesting because To me, with the Kale ban, it tells me that they don't want to first pick it. What pick do they want to go for? Because usually when you're on blue side, you want to first pick a power pick, and the Jhin makes so much sense here. The Jhin actually makes a lot of sense here. He's probably the best marksman in the game right now because he doesn't rely on crit chance as much. So you can build Eclipse into Collector and transition to more of a crit build. And he is super, super strong. Like I said, probably one of the best bot laners in the game. The only one on that top 19 list on u.gg.
Okay, so the Direwolves here are taking a strategy as well as the Esports Rebels. They're both picking their AD carries first, wanting to get these priority
Pretty standard,
AD
pretty
carries.
standard.
Very, very standard. Jhin, very strong in the meta. Misfortune plays well around the team. And then here you go, the sad mummy time of Amumu Misfortune, bringing back Season 3 days. The curse of the sad bullet time is what they call it. But
much stronger now that Amumu's ultimate is no longer a root, but a stun.
Absolutely.
Which is very, very strong. Now, Misfortune is also a really good pick here because she also likes to build a lot of lethality. And with the lethality items and how strong they are, it makes pretty good sense to see a Jhin MF bot lane. And this might be something we see consistently throughout the entire series. It just would depend on which team gets what. Knowing Panzer, I'm not too sure this Amumu is going in the jungle. It could go support. Amumu is a decent support. But something I do want to point out, that Victor. Anyone who knows anything about Victor in the preseason knows that he was busted when the new items dropped because he no longer needed the Hex Core. And he was freed up to get another item and not have to rely on his Hex Core to upgrade his abilities. He has been nerfed since then, but he's still pretty strong. Now I'm also more confident that Amumu's going jungle since the Karma got picked up.
Yeah, absolutely. Karma being taken as a just pretty well-rounded utility support. He's not really going to be doing any playmaking here on the bot side. That leads me to believe that they just want to have a fairly safe bot lane and wait until you can start combining some of these AoE ults of the Misfortune and Amumu. Doesn't necessarily work completely with the Misfortune. There's better AD carries to pair with the Karma. That Caitlyn that they were showing initially could be one of them. But interesting bans here. You're having Hecarim and Darius taken out. And now
that Akali ban. That Akali ban is really, really good. And Orianna, that is comfort pick for Yukimoto. That is a very much comfort pick for him. So two bans targeted towards the mid lane instead of the top lane coming out of the Rebels. Showing that they're trying to get a much more favorable matchup for Victor, but the Echo that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Gotta play around the Victor cage, play around the Echo ult once he hits 6. It's going to be very, very interesting how that goes. And would you know it, Nunu has been selected. We'll see if the points I made earlier this stream actually will bear fruit, or they'll just be null and void because of what's going to happen in this game. We'll have to see.
As someone who's played the Amumu side of this matchup, this is a very difficult matchup. I played it more back on the old Nunu versus, the still same Amumu. And generally as Amumu, you're not looking to fight inside your jungle early on. You want to safely farm and then occasionally gank when the opportunity presents itself. When you get your level 6 is when you're most powerful. Nunu, on the other hand, is looking to get small advantages well before that. So it's very dangerous for Amumu before level 6 against the Nunu, especially if Nunu is counter jungling, which if you're picking that champ, you really should be. We're going to see how practiced the jungler of Merciless Esports Rebel is with this Nunu pick.
Ooh. Volibear Kled top lane. That's going to be very fun to watch. Very, very fun indeed. Some key points I do want to point out around the team composition. It's going to be mostly heavily reliant on the uh, jungle top duo to hard engage when it comes to team fight for both of these teams, because there's really no hard engage anywhere else in either of these teams. Echo could get a flank. If Victor catches someone in his cage, he can pop them quickly. But all in all, it's going to be on the junglers and the top laners to hard engage in these fights. And I do want to also point out, both mid-jungle duos are full AP when it comes to their damage. It's full magic damage. Nunu and Amumu both do magic damage, or mostly magic damage with the exception of their standard auto attacks. So that's itemization is going to be very easy early on for both of these mid laners. So they can quickly sit on a null magic mantle, maybe turn that into Assault Shoes after they get their first item. Help with that bit of CC, that both teams have quite a bit of CC. Some little bit more reliable than others. Again, you want to look at that. You want to look at the junglers if you want some more reliable CC.
I've got something on my mind, Stripes. Ever since this ever since the third ban of the Direwolves and the final pick of Kled, I've got something on my mind. Okay, so you're the Direwolves here. You ban out Malphite, who would work out absolutely perfect in your Amumu Misfortune comp, but you decide to ban it. Instead, you pick the aggressive Kled matchup into Volibear, and right now all the pressure is on Reverse to be able to win this matchup. And if he doesn't, it's like, well, why did you pick the Kled then? And you're not going to get a whole lot of help from Amumu to help you if Nunu starts camping the top lane. Really, you're putting yourself in a bind to have to carry this game. When you leave the Malphite up, it gives you the option to pick it, which I know he plays the champ, and he's so strong right now. So this is very questionable to me. I'd really like to hear from the Direwolves about that last pick and that ban. Just something from knowing this team and playing with them. I'm buddies with just about everyone here, and I'd really love to find out what their thought process is, because it's going to give them a different type of engage here. The Kled coming in with the ult, the long, windy a speed up there, other than that reliable AoE CC of the Malphite. And I really want to see if Reverse can pull this off, because if he doesn't, it's going to be on my mind. And this is what I'm thinking of most. And I'm looking at this comp here, and all across the map, Merciless Esports Rebels have the advantage, either in push or just in raw damage. And
something that comes to mind is, what if that was the point? What if you want Nunu to camp up top? Because Dragon Soul is still a thing, and it still could be very, very strong if given the right soul and situation. So if Reverse plays the matchup well enough and avoids ganks well enough not to die, not to feed the Nunu or Volibear, then that frees up Amumu to kind of pseudo camp the bottom side of the map, so he can take mostly free dragons. And if Nunu shows himself on the bottom side of the map, Reverse can threaten an all-in to try and kill the Volibear in this matchup. So it's kind of like, we don't know for certain, but it could be the threat of how much do you want to camp top, if that means you're giving up the early dragons, when in reality you can easily take those early dragons because you have that early game advantage with the Nunu over Mumu matchup. At the same time, you don't want to count out both of these mid laners, because even though Victor was nerfed, both of them can do a lot of damage when it comes late game, when it comes to their 6 items, when it comes to all of that, they can still be very, very deadly for it. To be on the wrong side of them. You gotta watch out for Hard Rock because Jin can also carry that very late game. But at the same time, it won't matter if there's an Echo that blows you up in half a second. You will be dead and there will be no damage to give.
And let me just touch a little bit more here while we have a minute before these lanes start to form out. What I was talking about how I prefer Merciless Esports Rebels draft here in comparison with the Midnight Gaming Direwolves, who are playing on the red side. So look in the bot lane. So you have a all damage Jin brand bot lane who can absolutely damage output the Misfortune and the Karma on a straight 2v2 level. This is something that the Karma doesn't necessarily is strong at. It's going to be great going into the mid game and in the late game, but just for straight damage output here, the Jin brand will win out. And
I want to point out something we saw. Sorinaga was pinging to his team that he saved onto those skill points just in case anything would happen. If he needed a quick CC, or he could go for this just traditional first point to help clear out the first buff on Amumu. Always a good thing to keep in mind. If nothing's happening, go your standard route with your first skill point. But if you need something, for example, you need that W from Jin, but you normally go Q, so you can try and CC and get an early level 1 kill. Just something to keep in mind for everyone who's experienced a lot of level 1 cheese.
And something that you can, what I like that Soranyaga did here on the Amumu is started over on the red side. When you're worried about getting counter jungle that your opposing side buff, you start the opposite side and it throws the opposing jungler off, in this case the Nunu, and now Amumu can safely farm his blue side now without the threat of being counter jungled in the same type of way he would be on the opposite side. So I really like the shot call there to start on that red. Even though Amumu prefers the blue early on, just a little bit of safety there in the early game. So good job from the Direwolves.
I have a question for you, because this is something that I've been trying to figure out when I play jungle. How often are you smiting when you still have your jungle item? Do you want to get your smite as soon as possible? Or are you still smiting normally and semi-conservatively?
I'm still doing it semi-conservatively, but that's not to say that's the optimal way to play. I do not know the optimal way in that case. I know it's been a debate on Reddit, and I don't think it's been solved just yet. But I still just use my smite when it works most for the jungle path and for the health that you get.
Something I do also want to point out, if you're looking at top lane, Reverse has almost lost Skarl already, taking some bad trades, and there he goes. Skarl, gotta be careful of those bad trades as we get a counter gank in the mid lane. Some damage onto John, nothing too major coming out of it, but something to keep an eye out for. It looks like that there might be some heavy attention towards the mid lane.
And right now, Echo pushing out forward, which he can do initially, but Victor will be able to take that pushing power back. It's just a matter of levels and items, and he's going to look to try to keep Echo back at his tower. That's what he's going to want to do, get as much CS and farm and AP as you can so that you can be able to clear those minions with just a couple of spells, and you want to keep Echo at his tower and not roaming, because Yukimoto in mid lane is not going to be content with just staying there for 20 minutes in mid lane and not affecting the rest of the map. That's not why you pick Echo.
And it isn't, but something else you want to keep in mind, those mana levels as well. It doesn't matter if your if you're at full health and your opponent's at half, if you have no mana and they have close to full, because you won't be able to use all of your unless you're bot lane and you're a marksman, which that is the clear exception. But if you're in mid lane, if you don't have any mana, you really can't use most of your abilities to actually damage and threaten your opponent with kill pressure. So keep in mind the mana levels, and both of them seem to be extremely low, so don't expect too much kill pressure unless one of the junglers comes and ganks mid once again. As Reverse going in for a quick trade onto Jack, will find favorable trade, but will lose Skarl in the meantime.
Jack's
but
got the level 6 here. He's got kill pressure right now. He has the flash up. Nunu coming down here.
It does seem also, I do want to point out, I am a little bit behind.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I took a little bit loading in. So
But,
that's
612.
like the only difference. I'm at 602. So I need to go. So I'm like 10 seconds behind.
Can you move yourself forward?
I cannot.
Okay, then I will pause. When are you at 27?
I'll let you know. Now. Alright. Sorry about that. Just some technical difficulties.
Yep, all good. All right, now we have a better idea what's going on. But game is dead even here, almost 7 minutes in, and I have to say, so far so good for the Gnar in top lane. It has a CS lead, and it looks like he's got the push already. Yeah.
Oh, look at it! Very Wet is flashing in, trying to get the kill, but Hard Rock will actually get first blood. Support for support trade, but Hard Rock is gonna get the double kill in bot lane. Huge for the Jhin.
Kled, they look similar. They're both brown.
That was all summoners blown in the bot lane. There are no summoners down there. And it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the Rebels. That is very, very huge. Especially since both ADCs are very, very close when it comes to CS. Just a 5 CS lead over to the Jhin.
That 1,000 gold is in the Jhin. He got the first blood bonus and a second kill. So he's purchasing.
Yeah, that is an eclipse in the making right there. That is an eclipse in the making. He is gonna actually not buy the Vampiric Scepter and go for the Swifty Boots instead. That's gonna help him quite a bit in lane, helping him dodge some of those skill shots, move faster away from the Karma to avoid the bind. So I do think the Swifty Boots does have value over the Vampiric Scepter, but it will delay that Eclipse power spike, as Yukimoto is actually going to get a lot of damage onto Max and force out the flash.
Direwolves here with solo lane pressure. Now Reverse seems to be fighting. Snarl is down.
Yes, but... Oh, Jack is going to go back in. Reverse is going to have to flash out. Jack is going to flash over and hit the Q, and that's going to be a kill over to the Volibear.
It's a nice play by Jack. Realizing he had that kill pressure with the flash, he decides to take it this time.
Especially with the ultimate giving him that extra health to make it harder. And with how low Reverse was, it made it very, very hard for him to get a full W proc off and build up that courage to get Skarl back. He just could not do so, as we have a TP coming in for Reverse down in the bot river, trying to take care, ultimately coming out too. John is going to be stunned up and taken down, and that looks like it's going to be a free dragon for the Direwolves.
Excellent teleport there, guaranteeing them that play. Not only taking out the Nunu, but going to get the dragon on top of that.
If you're going to take anyone out before a jungle, make it be the jungler. Or whoever has unsealed spellbook, which no one does in this game. So the jungler is the top priority before objectives.
That was a good shot call there.
Something else I do want to point out. Echo was forced to use his ultimate, so that will be down for a little bit of time. He did get very, very low when trying to burst down Max, so that ultimate's going to be down for a little bit. Judging by the items, I'm kind of curious to what the Victor... I'm not too sure of what Victor builds are looking for. So right now I'm unsure of what his mythic is, especially with what he's holding on to.
Don't worry, Stripes, we're all still learning these items. It's new for all of us. You have the same items for like 8 years, and then Now there's massive changes, so we're all getting
Oh.
used to them.
Cujo is going to go down quickly in the bot lane. Another trade is going on in top lane as Reverse is getting pressured out by Jack. Curtain Call is going to come up, but find nothing. PTA has been procced on the Hard Rock, and oh, that could be another double kill, and it is going to be a double kill.
I was just about to say Jin has a lot of power here, and that's what I was about to say, and he goes in 2v1s.
Oh, but look at John is up at Reverse, using the ultimate, trying to kill him. Oh, Skarl couldn't come in time, and that's going to be a 3-for-1, all things considered, in favor of the Rebels.
Yes, back and forth, but the Rebels keep holding onto their lead. Remember, they don't hold the first dragon.
They have a 1.5k gold lead. They are getting some tower plates on the bot side. I do think that you would want to get most of this gold over to your Jhin instead of having it split between the Jhin and the Volibear. So that's something that I have a little bit of concern with, especially since your Jhin is 4-0. He's very close to that Eclipse. Because if you look at how much gold he has in the bank, 1740 gold. That's how much he's holding on to right now. Easily go back and turn that into an Eclipse. Or close to an Eclipse, and some more items.
So Stripes, we got a key point here with Nunu has the Rift Herald, and has 2 more minutes left to get further plates. So, but first we've got Very Wet, going to be very aggressive despite being a level down and 3 kills down. Still being able to find a little bit of damage, realizing that Jhin does not have a lot of mana and can't trade back as effectively. Also,
if we go back to those gold values, 2,000 gold that the Jhin is sitting on, that is missed combat value. So right now the MF has advantage in lane with the Vampiric Scepter, as Reverse is going to get chased down by Jack the Ripper again, and I don't think that Reverse is going to be able to get out of it. No, he will not. Yukimoto is looking for the roam. TP is coming up here from Max. Yukimoto looks like he's going to have to ult. He's going to wait a little bit, try and juke him out, but he'll ult back into the Chaos Storm. Volibear ult is there, turn down the tower, but the tower is back online, but it won't kill Jack!
It's Volibear! They don't go against towers! Being able to lock that down, securing even more to their lead.
A play goes from bad to worse, and that's going to be Rift Herald drop mid with solo gold going over to the Nunu. Once again, I think this is a questionable decision. You really want to consider where your gold is going to. If you want to put it on the Nunu, make him tankier, okay. But I would say put it more on the Victor, put it more on the Jhin. These are the people that are going to be doing a lot of damage. And with that 2k gold that Jhin had in the bank, look at what he has now. He has the Eclipse. For those who don't know what Eclipse does, basically, you land 2 attacks or abilities, you gain a shield. It helps survive diving in with assassins, and it's also going to be some self-peel when it's on those lethality-reliant ADCs. However, Very Wet is also going to have the Eclipse up himself, so keep that in mind. Neither mid laner is going to have items well, but Yukimoto is going to get collapsed on. Or mid, when you see 4 come mid. That's a very rare occasion in our elo. Pretty common in the LPL though.
Well, the solo lanes of the Direwolves are having a little bit of difficulty failing to launch like Matthew McConaughey in that movie. But they still have some power in their Misfortune, who's farming really well. And here we're seeing some damage going down. Both of them have their Eclipse. But Misfortune is going to get the first kill off. The heal's going off. They're trying to be able to 2v1. But remember, Jhin took them down last time. MF is trying to get away. She's trying.
MF will get away. But Panzer's not going to be able to. Oh, Very Wet just needs that.
I spoke too soon.
You did. Very Wet just need to walk into the brush, into safety. But tried to double back, tried to bait it out, but the shot went straight towards the minion wave. So he would have been fine. That's going to be second turret over to the Jhin. First turret was taken down by the Rebels in mid lane. It's going to be a lot of opening it's going to open up a lot of possibilities around the map for them. But still, a 5k gold lead pretty much. If we look over where that gold lead is,
a lot of resources being spent down here, trying to protect the Jhin.
But it's not going to work. That's going to be a massive shutdown onto the Echo. And that's one of the people you wanted on. You wanted it on the Echo or the MF. Ultimate going to be used by Jack, and he will get out safely. But that is 900 gold onto the Echo. And it's going to make you reconsider where these gold differences are. 1k gold lead in the top lane for the Rebels. 500k 500 gold lead in the jungle for the Rebels. Roughly around a 300 gold lead in the mid lane for the Direwolves. Supports are pretty even, but the biggest thing, 1.5k gold lead for the Rebels in the ADC spot. Uno is going to be popped, so is MF ult. Brand is going to come up and pop an ult of his own, but it's going to be bouncing off the minions. Will very wet kill Cujo? Yes, he will. And will he survive? No, he will not, because Hard Rock comes up just in time. Reverse does not have the ability. The blue trinket will come out, and that's going to be another double kill onto the Jhin.
Well, we haven't seen the end of the Direwolves yet. It's only 3,000 gold different, despite all these kills. In differential, they're farming better in key positions. They're finding gold in other places. It's still only 3,000 gold at 17 minutes. And they're still very much in this game. They really have to work a little bit better in combining their ults and getting favorable team fights. They're not.
I see something with the items that I want to talk about. Look, if you look at the mid lane, we have the rocket belt complete for the Echo. That's the Echo's mythic item. But Victor didn't go for his mythic item. Instead, he went for, I believe that is, if I'm not mistaken, that's Cosmic Drive. Went for Cosmic Drive instead. Give him a little bit more ability haste, a little bit more move speed when he lands his abilities. So he's going to be favoring that, and Reverse trying to back away because top tower is basically lost at this point with how low health it is and 3 up top. We'll get stun up for a little bit, PTA procced on him, but it doesn't matter in the end. He just walks away.
Good find there, Stripes. So Victor building a little bit more for the mid game, just wanting to get some quick damage and cooldown. Now called ability haste.
I'm sorry, I have to talk about this. Bandoglass Mirror? Why?
I guess we're gonna find out.
Bandoglass Mirror is usually built on enchanters, built on support. What is he building? Victor doesn't have a lot of...
He wants that mana regen. That base mana regen.
Wants that mana regen, that always helps, but what? Victor doesn't, in his kit, doesn't have anything that supports his allies. It mostly just deals damages and provides a bit of utility. Doesn't provide shields, doesn't provide healing. Nothing to affect his allies directly other than killing his enemies or stunning them up.
Maybe he just wants this little piece there, just to hold on to it, just for those raw stats.
I've been known to sit on some fairy charms when I'm playing mages or a little bit, but I'm not too keen on going all the way to the Bandoglass Mirror. That's a bit more of a gold investment.
Jack the Ripper doing his Yogi Bear impression. Give him a little shake, but we got in deep.
Ooh, huge 4-man ultimate, and that's going to be a kill right onto the Jhin. Shutdown goes to the Echo once again. And Sorinaga is going to find Cujo, but the Chaos Storm will find him in return. Jack the Ripper is going to go low and shut down by the Kled. 3 for 1 so far. Can it be more? Coming in for the Direwolves, and it looks like it might be, but they're still trying to go in reverse. It does get the hook onto John, and the second will pop up. Will John go down? Yes, he will. Very Wet is going to get the kill, and can this be the ace? Max will flash.
Got the red. He's got the red buff. Oh, it's so close, but not able to lock that one down.
Not
They're
enough.
right back into this. We saw it. We saw the ults combine. Amumu being deep in the enemy team. I believe got 4 with that Curse of the Sad Mummy right into almost all of them, followed right up by Very Wet with the bullet time, landing on at least 3. And that just set up the Direwolves to be able to clean up this team fight and pick up the objective afterwards. They still got a long way to go, but they are right back.
I don't think that they have I don't think they have that much further to go. What was roughly a 5k gold lead turned into a 2k gold lead after that play. They now have dragon advantage. Next dragon for them is going to put them on soul point. That's really, really huge for them. They need to keep this up. They need to keep up the momentum. See what they're going on. You look over to the itemization. Echo has finished the Magi's and is working towards the Lichbane. Little late with getting the Tiamat, a much more streamlined build path pickaxe in the Tiamat instead of 2 long swords and a rejuvenation bead. Which I think they've actually gotten rid of the rejuve bead, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong on that. I'm still getting used to tank items. I've not played a lot of tanks.
Tell you what's weird is on the Tiamat, it's no more active. It just it does it automatically for you. You don't have to press it anymore. That
is weird. It does hurt a few champions like Fiora, like Titanic Hydra builders like Shen, Volibear, because with that active gives them a quick reset. It really, really hurt Talon. Curse of Sad Mummy is gonna find 2, but Hard Rock did able to flash far enough away not to get hit by it, but that doesn't save him from Yukimoto. The brand ult is gonna come in there, but Sorinaga will find John. That is jungler killing jungler. And now this Echo is coming online and showing why the Echo is so much of a threat to the backline. Well, more kills are going to come happen.
Rebels deciding to continue to fight in their jungle despite already losing 2. Well, they decided to do that. Now they've lost 3. Direwolves
did get a kill back, but still, if the Direwolves wanted, they could actually go straight for Baron, and they're just going to turret dive Max, and that's going to be another kill onto the Kled. Will get turret aggro, and Jack is thrown very, very low. Moo is jumped onto, ult will come out on Jack. And they're just going to keep pressuring him. Sorinaga will manage to get out ever so slightly. Jack will also be able to escape. This Nunu won't find any counter engage. And look at that gold lead. It's shifted entirely. The Direwolves are now ahead. Not by much, but they are now ahead when it comes to gold.
We are officially in Funky Town, okay? Right now, okay? We're asking... And we've received right now. And it looks like...
Look at Victor. He got Imperial Mandate. Honestly, not the worst item. If you consider it's not the worst item. If you trap someone in the queue, that's a lot of burst damage coming out from it in addition to your regular burst. Not to mention its mythic passive gives extra AP. All in all, I think that's a pretty solid purchase. So you could argue items that you would, mythic items you would build in place of that would give much more AP in addition to other value. So the 15 AP wouldn't, per legendary, wouldn't actually matter. But I do not think it's the worst purchase on them.
No, and definitely very creative. Love seeing it.
We can take a look. Both ADCs have finished Collector. Jin finished his quite a while ago. MF finished hers very recently. We also do have Executioners coming out on the MF, which is a really, really good call, especially when you have someone like a Nunu and a Volibear, both with a bit of self-sustain in their kits, with both, ironically, with biting people. But really good call with the Executioners. But it looks like the Jin is going to go for the Rapid Fire Cannon next, as you can see with the Kershi Shard and the Zeal. Oh, but Amumu is going to find an ult onto Max and Cujo is actually going to go down. That is a support down already. The stun is going to be huge onto Soria, onto Reverse. The Jin ult is going to be there. He's marked by Imperial Mandate. He's ulting, trying to find some kills. That's a lot of damage on the Panzer, and Panzer is dangerously low. Manages to get out of the way with the heal. This fight is far from over. Skarl has been lost, and Yukimoto will find the kill onto the MNE jungler, but Reverse will go down in the fight. But Very Wet will also take down the Nunu. That is a 3 for...
one, I believe. Direwolves ended up...
was that a 3 or 4 for 1?
coming out ahead of that. And once again, Sora and Yana being able to bandage toss over the wall and land 2 in the ult, starting off that fight, followed by the bullet time right from the get-go. They already start off the lead. That's been their recipe for success. It's been the Mummy starting it off and the team following up. Let's see if Sora can keep doing it, because I am loving what I'm seeing out of what I'm believing is a secondary player coming in into the playoffs here in semifinals, our first best of 3s, and he's coming up massive on this Amumu pick.
Indeed he is, and with that team fight, look at the Dragons. The Direwolves are on sole point right now. We have 4.5 minutes, and this is going to be a Dragon that has to be contested. There is no way that the Rebels have... There is some way, but it's much, much harder for the Rebels to actually win this game if they give up Ocean Soul. So they have to contest this next Dragon. They have to win the fight or go for the steal. And the important thing is, John has to stay alive. Either that or Sora needs to die. Those are the two things that need to happen, because you want smite advantage when that dragon comes up. If you don't have smite advantage, if your jungler's down in the other ones, and you don't have someone with unsealed spellbook up and ready with a smite, then you're in pretty dire straits. Especially when you have a jungler like the Nunu. The Chomp Smite combo can only be matched by a Cho'Gath ultimate when it comes to dragons, when it comes to objective securing.
All right, Stripes,
You have
I got a
very
caster
mindful of
rap
this.
prediction here coming up.
Oh?
Yeah. This game now at almost 28 minutes, this game is going to continue and is going to go right down to the wire on like a second Baron or a second Elder. There's the caster rap prediction. This game is going to go deep, and it's going to be decided on a single big play. And right now, it could be either team.
So with either, if you're going with the second Elder Dragon part of it, it's going to go at least another 13 minutes as the top laners are going at it in the bot lane. Reverse is going to lose Skarl, but Jack is so low, and Reverse is actually going to get the solo kill. Landing multiple Qs
in the matchups later on. Because
it's
Jack,
that built-in Grievous Wounds too. Oh, look at that. With the duo of Yukimoto and Very Wet just blowing up Max in the top lane. But Reverse does get Skarl back while John tried to get on him. The flash is there to prevent the Q from the second Q from coming up. But it looks like it's going to be a Baron start for the Direwolves, especially since the Nunu showed bot lane.
They got a ton of vision. Good idea from
Burn Call is going to be used, but it's going to be blocked for the most part. Yuki does get rooted up, but it looks like that the Rebels are going to back away. And Reverse is going to get another tower in the bot lane.
Look who's coming out big here. The Kled, Reverse, here towards the mid part of the game, being able to win on the sideline. You saw him win the fight a few minutes ago there, taking the tower. And he's been able to turn this matchup around where the Volibear was winning those early 1v1 matchups when they were in lane. It wasn't going so well for the Kled, but now he can 1v1. He's got 2 levels on the Volibear, and he's made this pick work. So I was questioning it in Champion Select, and, you know, even through laning phase, I was still questioning it. Now it's seeming like it's working out for the team, and they need to keep exploiting that. Have Kled on the side lane, play around the teleport, set up the plays around the Mumu. Mumu engages, everyone follows.
But here's something you have to keep in mind. Look at the scoreboard. Look at those yellow numbers above the middle 3 players on the Direwolves. That's some hefty shutdowns right there. And if you look at the 4th item slot of the Echo, if you manage to kill the Echo, not only will you get 600 gold worth of shutdown, but you'll also force him to lose 50 AP by taking out 10 of those 20 Magi stacks. That will be huge if you manage to do that. But they have to do it in the first place. Going to be a very tough task. Echo has a lot of peeling tools with his ultimate and with his team around him. So you have to commit to burst him down, chain CC him so he can't ult as Jack is going to go forward for some vision. Going to get chunked out, lose over half his health as Panzer is forced to flash. Here's that contest for the Dragon. Oh, but Amumu is going to find 3, but there's no follow-up for this one. Kujo is forced to flash, and it looks like Soranaga is actually going to be taken down as 1 shutdown claimed over to the Nunu. But there are some low health bars. Kujo cannot stay and fight this. What will the Direwolves do? Will they try and steal? Will they try and contest? It looks like they will not. They're just going to walk away. Oh, but look in the back line. Yukimoto is actually going to take down Kujo. He stayed a little bit too long. Reverse is trying to get some value. Does hop over the wall as Yukimoto will get a 2nd kill. That's a double kill currently for the Echo. Jack is super low. And he's trying to finish that off, but Yukimoto is actually will kill him. But look at that. Shutdown does go over to Victor, but it's an ace on the side of the Direwolves.
That's so big at this point. They don't even really care about the Dragon. It's about being able to win that in a 5-5-for-1. So yes, they lose the initial Dragon skirmish, but they've gained so much more in response.
They gain so much more, and plus, if they can siege this fast enough, they might be able to even break open the base. Look at that bot, like they just take down bot lane inhibitor turret. And they're going to take down the mid one as well. The only reason he couldn't get a lot more is because the immense wave clear of the brand, especially a brand with Leandres. Very, very massive.
Merciless Esports Rebels here, fortunate to just lose those 2 turrets. It is possible they could have lost more, and
could have lost 2 inhibitors as well.
Yep. And so they this is their last chance. If they lose another big team fight, they're losing 2 inhibitors and possibly the game. So it's make it or break it time, and all the momentum right now is on Direwolves. And I got to point out Yukimoto on the Echo flanking around and getting the first kill of the backing member in the bush that they had warded. So using the vision, getting the snipe, and then starting off that team fight with that assassination, they were always going to win it, and they were able to push and now are on the cusp of winning this game. We're going to be having Baron coming up in the very near future, and right now the Esports Rebels are starting to set up vision.
Oh, 6K. 6K. My bad. 6K gold lead in favor of the Direwolves. But there are some key items coming online for the Direwolves as well. That Blighted Jewels tells you that Echo wants to build a Void Staff. Only interested in building a Death Cap if he sells his boots. But IE comes in for the Misfortune. So that is something you're going to want to watch, especially. Force of Nature is there on Amumu, and Very Wet just blows up Kujo. This brand not having a fun time. 9 and 10. Yukimoto is going to TP right into it. Oh, but he took a snowball to the face, and that's where the danger of the burst damage from Victor comes in.
Excellent targeting there on the Misfortune, but the Jin Curtain Call being able to snipe, and Merciless Esports Rebel are starting to turn this on the Direwolves. This is disaster. They could be going back. They're going to be having 40, 50, 57-second death timers, and they're going to have their pick of what they want to do. Pushing and Baron are the options. You decide to push a couple of lanes, or you go hard for this Baron when it's up. Let's see what they decide to do, but first they're going to try to take out the Amumu, and it looks like they're going to be successful.
They are going to be able to do that, but the only problem is with pushing. Baron seems like the only call right now because if you look at the minion waves, they are all very pushed up in favor of the Direwolves. So to push them and try and get turrets out of it would probably be very, very bad for them because it would take so much time that by the time they even got to the turrets and started sieging the turrets, the Direwolves would be starting to respawn. So Baron seemed like the only call there. They made the call. They can push the waves passively with the Baron empowered minions as long as there's someone present, but they are going to have 5 Baron buffs as well. I was starting to think that your prediction of this game going down super, super late would be completely wrong, considering how it was going. But after that team fight, I'm not so sure. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at what the Nunu just built. Look at that 4th slot. That is a Magi's, my friend.
Yeah, it is. A little bit of a troll build at this point of the game.
Oh. Oh, yep. I see what they're doing.
Yeah, they are. Get ready. This is the highlight reel moment.
This is the highlight reel moment. Let's see it. Well, we're going to have to wait a little bit. Dora's doing some scouting, trying to be a little bit bait. The rebels are The rebels are nervous. They knew something was up. They backed away. They can't get much out of it. Oh, but the Victor steals the dragon. Victor stole the dragon. Both teams are now on soul point, but at what cost? It's already a 3-0 in favor of the Direwolves.
That's advantage for Direwolves there. They can push. They can look to finish.
The Chaos Storm! The Chaos Storm may have saved Max's life, and he takes down the Echo as well. Look at those Magi stacks. What once was over 20 is now sat at 9. Those deaths have been costly for the Echo, losing so much AP off of those few deaths. And this Victor, now with the death cap, is very, very lethal.
If I'm the Direwolves, I'm teleporting the Kled right into the base right at this point, because these 2 inhibitors could be the game for you. Having him
you need to get them up, but the problem is Max and Hard Rock are there. They are doing so much damage that any hits onto either the MF or the Karma could have resulted in them dying.
Yep.
And it quickly getting pushed back down the Direwolf's throat. This game could be decided in 3.5 minutes with this last Ocean Drake coming up. This is going to be the last Elemental Drake of the entire game because both teams are sat at 3 dragons apiece. Whoever gets it will get Soul and start the timer for Elder Dragon.
I think the Elder Dragon.
Oh my god! Hard Rock just stole blue buff. What a well-timed W! I was setting on directed cam.
Yeah.
I saw the W come out. I saw the blue. I saw the 100 gold. What happened? Oh shit! There's a blue buff on him.
Oh, he's only a half item away from full build. And there.
Oh, but the flash.
So close.
Oh, he will get the root onto Panzer, but the heal is there to keep him alive. Redemption used as well. That cooldown won't be up for a little while. Oh no. Trade of summoners, trade of active items. It's not the worst thing in the world. Keeping your Karma alive is probably the most important thing, but look at the positioning on the map. Yukimoto is pushing in bot lane, putting that split push pressure on, and 2 people are actually being forced to back to answer to him. So it looks like they might try some sort of collapse, but Yuki is actually backing right now, so there won't be any possibility of that.
It's looking like it's going to be a soul fight once again, and we're going to see, is this going to determine the game? I think I'm going to stick with my original prediction, and no, it's going to be around either the next Baron or the Elder, but this fight will happen nonetheless.
Did say second Baron, and we've passed that already.
Yeah. You're
going to be on the 3rd Baron and the Ocean Soul. Ocean Soul is still one of the most powerful Dragon Souls in the game, but I think actually with the prevalence of healing in the game, the need for grievous wounds has shot up like a roof. That even lower elo players are keeping that in mind. So I think Infernal Soul is actually overtook Ocean Soul when it comes to the most powerful Drake in the game, but Ocean Soul is still very, very powerful. Especially the only one that has any sort of grievous wounds on the Rebels is the Volibear with Thornmail. That's it. No one else has grievous wounds on the side of the Rebels. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have both the MF and the Amumu with some sort of grievous wounds. I do think you should have a little bit more, especially on the Echo, but it's whatever at this point.
Dragon and Baron both coming up. You're seeing what both teams are prioritizing. The Rebels on Baron and the Direwolves on Dragon.
Yukimoto is up top side. He can TP down bot. He has the teleport up. So, really a smart move. I think what the Rebels are doing is they're trying to prep Vision or Baron, actually rotate down to the Dragon. Oh.
I like the pick.
Are we
call
seeing the
here.
Fanatic brush?
We're
seeing
really
the
like
Fanatic
pick
brush.
call. Yep.
Okay. Oh, the sweeper is there. They're onto 3-man stun. 3-man stun. That's 3 kills over to the Direwolves, including some huge kills onto the Victor and the new. Those are some huge ones. That's going to be a free Ocean Soul, and that's going to be 2 inhibitors minimum.
Oh, that's
Hard Rock, how hard can he carry?
They should be able to finish here. You called it with the triple Amumu ult, and then followed immediately up by the Misfortune ult. Again, on 3 of them, perfectly placed by both Sorenyaga and Very Wet. And they're playing
Hard Rock
their comp.
is getting pressured by Yukimoto, but Edge of Night proving wonders, blocking all of the E and Q damage. But it looks like that it won't be enough. He's 1 against 5, and the Direwolves will take game 1 of the series in 42-50. 42-50.
Wow. What a first game.
What a first game. Don't disappoint me, guys. You set this series up to be a banger. I want to see a third game. I want to see a third game. You give me 3 games of this, I'll be happy. Oh, and my sounds have glitched.
Well, I'm looking through the scores, and a number of members of the Direwolves really showed up.
Indeed.
Viamumu by his decisions on when to go in. The Echo for dying twice early in the laning phase, but then not dying at all for like 20 minutes, and just scaling incredibly well.
I want to
into
see
mid-game.
what Professor says about that. I don't know if Professor will actually. Oh wait, actually he can, because I can like look up past shit. So hold on, let me launch Professor so I can say what it says about this last match. Just need to search one of the players up. There. Excuse me if you can hear anything in the background. My thing is screwing up. Like, so, my sound settings are a little weird, so ignore that. I don't think it actually show. Does it show custom games? I don't think it.
Probably not.
No, damn it, doesn't show custom game. Because I'm looking at Soranaga's Professor right now, and it's showing nothing. It's showing absolutely nothing. Except what he plays. Oh, he's a Teemo lover. Ah.
Still, a lot of very strong performances, and remember
indeed.
that the Rebels had a 5,000 gold lead at a pretty early juncture. but they weren't able to extend it, though. The Direwolves team fought with the alts in the mid game.
This is why Amumu is coming back up. The new items aren't the reason why Amumu has been coming back up. It's the ultimate change from changing the root to a stun, because if you change it, if it was still a root, a lot of times in those fights, Zanya's would have been popped, abilities would have been popped, damage would have been done, maybe a stun may have come out. So with Amumu's ultimate being changed from a root to a stun, it stops all of that, allowing combos like that to happen, allowing 3Ks, 3-man ultimates, 4-man ultimates, turning into quick team fight wins when you have an MF to follow up on an Echo to blow up single targets. So, great game by both teams. I do think that there was a little bit of favor when it came to team composition, when it came to the late game of Direwolves, because of the power of the Echo and the Amumu MF combo, and it really showed. But still, gotta give credit to the Rebels. They showed up big. They forced this game to extend. They got it to a double soul point, but they just couldn't finish it out. They had a great early game. They pulled it back when they were losing in the late game, but they just couldn't hold on to either, and they lost in the end.
Like you said, let's hope we get one more game just like that. I'm just going to throw it on a little bit of music while we wait for the teams to go next.
Indeed.
But I need to do it. Because right now, it seems to me, my options are fail now. Or fail later. Please stick with me.
I'm right here.
Welcome back. We are jumping into Champ Select of Game 2. This is going to be fun if we get a game just like the last one. Right now we have the same ban. I don't expect too much of the first bans coming out, but you might see some changes. Woo! Already we see a Jhin ban, so we're definitely going to see a new ADC in the bot lane. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, so we're going to see if any of the other bans are different, but so far, no. Orin and Kane were in the first 3 last time.
Indeed, they were. It was selected by the Rebel.
And remember, in the first rotation, they were picking 80 carries first.
I'm having technical difficulty, so I've randomly cut out. That's why. The Victor ban.
Well, as my colleague was saying, yeah, Victor ban. We're here. We're having the Direwolves, the winning team, is banning the best performing champions of the losing team.
Yeah, Victor was still a high-performing member, despite being on the losing side, so it's not the worst thing in the world to see. However, a lot of the bans are pretty much the same.
They are. Yep.
But key points: Malphite, Shen, right open there. So those are some picks that could be used. Amumu is going to get snatched up by the Rebels. Seems like it will be one of the power picks of the series. Not the power pick of the series.
I like the switch up there, deciding to take the Amumu pick away.
Ooh, there's that Malphite you were talking about in Game 1.
And they can pick the MF here. She's not banned, so if they still want to run an AoE comp without the Amumu, they can. They still can. But remember, the Amumu now on the Rebel side. It was a very key part of that strategy, though. So I'm not sure if they have someone they can slot in that will perform that task as well as Amumu could.
I have a feel. I know exactly who I want to see very wet play in the bot lane. I want to see some Samira. Samira is one of those ADCs that doesn't need a lot of items, hence why she is still performing very well. But if with this Shen pick coming through, it becomes a lot harder to play Samira because your W can only block so much, but you can't block a person. You cannot block a tall ninja man trying to taunt you by literally running through you. So that is it's going to be what very well wants to run, but I still think Samira could work really well if played around the Shen taunt and the Mumu ultimate well enough. The Heimerdinger is a very interesting pick.
I have to point out that the Rebels are drafting and banning extremely well. They ran the first 3 bans back. Okay, they're all priority bans here, but they pick 2 priority picks away from the Direwolves, the Amumu that they just played with, which arguably was the MVP of the match, and taking the Shen away from Panzer Valari, who we know will take him out in support and does really well with that Shen. So I really like what the Rebels are doing, taking away priority picks away from the Direwolves, and Vayne is going to be in the bot lane. This will not be a top lane.
I don't know.
We'll play top.
It could. It's very
possible.
unlikely that'll be top lane. If it was top lane, that would mean this is either a Malphite support or Malphite mid. But I think this is going to be a Malphite top, Vayne in the bot lane. Just wanted to throw out the possibility. But the one question mark in this draft I have is the Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger can be very powerful if he can snowball, but considering he was first picked, or he was blind picked, I should say, not first picked, but since he was blind picked, that will open up a counter pick over to Yuki to allow him to potentially pick someone who can much more easily deal with their turrets. And again, double AP in the mid jungle duo, hell, triple AP in the top half of the map, considering Shen does quite a bit of AP damage with his passive. So itemization is going to be really good, but at the same time, it's going to be really detrimental to the Malphite because he wants to stack armor. This is all AP. What can you... This is all magic damage. Armor doesn't do anything against magic damage. So, it's a give and take, really. So, we'll see how it goes. Malphite's still going to have that reliable engage. The Rakan is going to come out for Panzer. Ooh, I like it.
It's a playmaking
like
bot lane there. And you've
Definitely.
got reliable CC with Vi and Malphite with Vayne damage. You just need an AP, possibly a wave clear AP. You could also do an assassin, depending. Yeah, but you need some AP damage in the mid lane for the Direwolves to round out that comp.
Want to hear what I think the best of both worlds is? Don't hate me because I won, because she is probably my favorite champion, Diana. Diana would fit really, really well. Diana, so here's what I hate about Diana. She is so strong, but her pick and ban rates are less than 2%. And it doesn't make sense to me, considering she can poke, she can split push, she's one hell of a sieger, especially with her passive that gives you a bonus attack speed when you use an ability. You can just throw them on the ground next to you or just use your W. Get that increased attack speed, and every third attack increases damage. Not to mention, you get enough items that ultimately becomes a nuke, but the Syndra is going to come out. That's also a really good pick into the Heimerdinger.
I think it's a much better pick. Yeah, the Heimerdinger. I think if you you're talking about the strong points of Diana, they're all true. But when you're playing a melee character into Heimer, those strengths fade away and they become very frustrating. You just want to leave lane so that you can actually do something without someone having 3 turrets shooting at you. So the Syndra really does fill out the comp, getting that consistent AP damage.
No. I'm like, they're memeing. I'm just like, is that serious? They had the Thresh in the top lane on the side of the Rebels, but nope, they were just memeing a little bit. But all in all, I think Syndra is a really, really good pick here. Ranged matchup in a ranged matchup helps it out a little bit. You can even grab one of Heimerdinger's turrets and throw it back at him, or just throw it away if you don't want to deal with it. So that's something that's really useful. But the one thing about the Syndra, if she gets put behind, it's really, really hard for her to come back into the game.
Just looking at the Rebels team comp here, and I'm not really sure what they're trying to do with just
they're
with
half
with
dive, half
comp.
poke. It's interesting to me. It's very interesting because there's not too much synergies. Like, there's synergies with Amumu and Shen and Thresh, and then there's synergies with Ezreal and Thresh because Ezreal can be more aggressive and but he will have the Lantern and his E to fall back on if they start trying to dive on him. Heimerdinger can throw out some stuns, get some turret, get his extra turret or his R rockets for extra damage. Meanwhile, you look over to the side of the Direwolves. That's a team fight comp. 100% that's a team fight comp. Malphite engage, follows up, Vayne follows up, Rakan secondary engage, Syndra R to blow up a priority target. That's exactly what the Direwolves want to do. It's unclear what the Rebels want to do.
I've been thinking about it the last 45 seconds, and I've thought it's the only thing that makes sense to me is that the Rebels are going to play around their bot lane this game. And you're going to have Amumu being able to get into the bot lane with Thresh. He's got abilities to be able to get him in. and you're going to have Shen to be able to follow up onto the bot side as Amumu continually dives in. That's the only way I see this working. They control the bot side of the map, using those 4 pieces with, you know, and then Heimer can be safe in mid lane, and you at least control, you know, part of the map, and that's how I would play this comp.
The only issue I see with that is looking at the matchup in the bot lane. It's Ezreal Vayne. There is basically no kill pressure in that lane unless one side severely mispositions and gets caught out by the other, by the opposing support. So I don't think we're gonna see much action in the bot lane other than like turret dives or anything. But if there's gonna be a turret dive, it's gonna be the rebels diving onto the Direwolves, because Ezreal has a lot more pressure, or a lot more wave clear or push because of his Q. He can quickly auto 1 minion to kill it, Q another, and Vayne just has to keep autoing in the early game. So it's still pretty even, slight advantage to Ezreal, but unless we see a lot of tower dives, I don't think we're going to see a lot of action in the bot lane when it comes to the laning phase. Really,
well, I think we agree.
Looking at the team compositions, I'm actually thinking we might just have a very boring early game.
Yeah, we very well could, because both could be trying to play around mid game. But I do agree on one point. It's going to be the Direwolves going forward, looking for those team fights and those engages, and it's going to be the Rebels are the ones that are going to be playing back and trying to, reestablish themselves in a more positive footing, using the Shen ult to turn a fight, using Thresh to be able to get in and out a fight. So I really think, we're gonna have one engager and then one kind of retreater back into favorable situations, kind of setting baits and picks. We're gonna see which team.
That Ezreal's running Dark Harvest.
He is.
That Ezreal's running Dark Harvest. Both teams are looking for level 1 plays on opposite side of the map.
Love it.
All of the Rebels are on the top side, and the Direwolves are on the bot side, both in the Direwolves jungle. We'll see how much they want to commit to it. It looks like that the bot lane is going to back for the Rebels, so they can get the lane. Ezreal's just staying a slightly bit longer in case they catch out someone like the Malphite, which is right there, walking by.
He was safe at first. Not safe
No,
anymore.
now he's in trouble. He's forced to flash over the wall. He doesn't have a lot of health, though.
Good
So
flash.
he's going to have to back. It was a good flash. He's going to have to back. That could cost him some lane XP, some minions, or even his teleport if he decides to use it.
I would have thought Rebels would have sent 2 or 3 people flashing over to secure that kill, but they didn't want to use up that skill, and they know they have that advantage now in top lane. Look for Amumu in the before the 7-minute mark to get back up the top lane and see to try to get his Shen ahead in this tank v tank matchup. You know the flash is down on the Malphite. Let's see if you can exploit it. Let's see if
I'm going to be wrong about this early game, because look, Vi's going for the red buff so she doesn't get 3 buff. But look at what Amumu's doing. Skipping over his blue buff completely and going straight for the red buff. Bot lane is there trying to contest. Vi is just going to go over the wall.
Good play by Vi there. Being able to
Good.
get out.
Good play by the Rebels. John with the good call to go straight towards his blue buff, and Jack is just going to rush right into reverse, force him off the minion wave. Already has that level advantage. And good bunch of poke coming out onto Yuki. Thinking about it now, I think I'm starting to understand what the Rebels team comp wants. They're looking for wins in the laning phase, and that's exactly what they're doing. Look at the CS top. Yeah, it's very early on, but 1 for reverse. Okay, now he's got 2. He's got 2. But look at the wave. That is way... He should have way more than 2. That's like, what? 8, 9 minions lost because he was forced off the minion wave?
He's also has a little bit of a wave pushing, so it's not as bad as it might seem. He just needs to secure these underneath the turret, and looks like he's stacking at least some of those.
Indeed, he is, but the biggest problem is Vi is going to get 3 buffs, screwed out of both of her reds. As an AD champion, that is pretty bad. If you lose both of your if you're losing both your red buffs, they are going to find the gank. Max is going to flash away, and he is going to find safety. John is there. Will they try and find the follow-up engage onto the Syndra to try and secure the kill? But no, it doesn't look like they're going to.
Vi deciding to take a fight here, but doesn't have any help from the Syndra, who's back clearing the wave.
Syndra not in the best position health-wise. Vi, on the other hand, pretty full health. Though, if Vi really wants this kill, finds the stun, first blood over to the Syndra.
That was very aggressive from Heimer, staying up in that wave with his jungler leaving. Left himself open for that.
Sora needed a play like that. After being behind early on, getting 3 buffed by the opposing jungler, you needed something like that to keep yourself in the game. Back with the EQW combo, just to get a good trade pattern going on. The bread and butter for Shen.
Big,
you
big
eat through to get the taunt. Yeah,
Shen,
you
though.
eat. For those who don't play Shen, basically what it does is you E through, get the taunt on, and you're on the other, and you and the sword are on the other side, so you Q, your sword gets drawn through, getting the amplified Q to do more of percent max health magic damage, and the W to prevent the autos from actually hitting you because they get blocked when you're standing, when you and your allies are standing in that. That is the premise of Shen's EQW combo.
Yeah, so
Pretty
lets
good.
him taunt his opponent under a massive minion wave and actually still come out ahead on the trade.
Indeed, it will. One thing I do want to point out, despite being killed early on, Heimerdinger is still holding on pretty well in the farm, but the item difference is very blatantly clear. Amplifying Tome and a Monogem compared to a Lost Chapter for the Syndra. Very, very big disparity over in the mid lane. Meanwhile, the farm difference is pretty good. And look, Jack's already hit 6. So that's something the Direwolves need to keep in mind. He can just jump right in with the Stand United, try and get something in. But at the same time, also got to be careful because Reverse is so close to 6. Reverse could save. Reverse could save that. Jack does miss the taunt.
Plays there from the Rebels. Miss taunt and then a miss bandage toss on top of that.
But if you're looking on the bright side, Reverse is forced off the minion wave. Pressure is relieved from Jack, allowing it to push up. Reverse is still only level 5 now, just hit 6. Kujo is going to scout out Sora on the dragon. He's forced to back away. He cannot win a fight while the dragon's hitting with that low health. Reverse could look to all-in engage here. Sora will confirm it with the help of the Rakan. That is Ocean. That is the first Drake. Mountain Drake is coming up next, so we are looking for a Cloud or Infernal Soul as Yukimoto kills Max in the jungle. Big, big kill coming in for the Syndra. I said before the game started, if the Syndra is put behind, that it becomes really hard for Syndra to play the game. I don't think the Syndra is behind at all.
No, she absolutely isn't. And you know she's sitting on gold too. Because she's going to try to get back to base. Mumu coming in through the middle.
1100 gold is what she's sitting on. That is nearly boots and a blasting wand. So, you might... By the time she gets back, she can wait in base a little longer if she really wants boots. And that's exactly what she's going to do since she's only like 10 gold off.
This is the level 6 and a level 5 differential on bot lane. And you had Thresh engaging on a level 6 counterpart. Pretty dangerous at that point.
When it comes to level 6s of the Vayne and Ezreal, it really doesn't matter too much. But when it comes to the level 6s of the Rakan versus Thresh, that matters drastically. Especially with Rakan's ultimate being a charm to easily follow up with his abilities afterwards to chain CC them. All in all, it has been pretty standard. Despite being 2 kills up, the gold lead is still roughly around 400, 500, roughly around there. Another gank coming down the mid lane. They're trying to punish Max. He does pop the big turret, and that's a lot of damage over, but the stun is there. They are turning it onto Max. The Stand United will come, saving Max. Flash forced out by Yuki to avoid the taunt. John is there. The Ezreal ultimate will put some damage on Yuki, and Yuki will find the kill onto Max. The flash ult from John will find Yuki, but more and more people are coming in as we have a big out brawl in the mid lane. Reverse using the ultimate. Double taunt coming out from Jack to keep his team alive. Reverse will get Kuja with a kill, but there's a kill traded back. Reverse will go down to John, and all in all, it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the Direwolves. And they will drop this Riptail mid to help beat the Syndra just that little bit more.
Let's see how they can really extend this team fight win. And they're going to decide to use the Rift. They want to get those plates right off the board and get that gold immediately onto Syndra. They could have decided to wait for that, to see if they could try to get a full turret elsewhere.
I don't think you really could have with Imumu right there.
Again, it's a debate, and they chose to get that immediate gold and damage on the mid turret, and we're going to see if it pays off. They are trying to snowball at this point, and it is through the Syndra.
You want to point one more thing out. Look, if you scroll over to the Rebels mid turret, it is very close to losing that third plate. One auto from Syndra would easily take it. But I think roughly around 2-3 autos from caster minions, and maybe an auto or two from a cannon would also get rid of that plate. So you really want to be careful if you're Yuki, but it really doesn't matter when you just blow up your laner like that.
Yeah, Max 2 Fly on the Heimer is really behind at this point, and honest, he's dead for a 4th time now, but on his 3rd death in the mid lane, he just stayed for a little bit too long once again and got blown up by Syndra.
Well, Panzer's trying to go in for the counter engage, but he will manage to find his way out. Ultimate was used from Very Wet. Panzer is still super low, and Very Wet is already down to half health. The ultimate has more out and the Ignite has been used as well as flashes. Versus taunted under turret, meanwhile in the top lane. No kills resulted from any of this. I think that was really beneficial for the Ezreal Thresh bot lane, because it forces the Vayne and the Rakan out of lane, so you can push the wave, get some turret plates, see how much you can really get out of it. Meanwhile, you also have that push for that Mountain Dragon coming up right now, if you want to try and halt the stacking, while the Ezreal gets 2 solo plates in the bot lane.
Just 2 minutes left for plates. Both teams trading on different turrets, but there's just a couple minutes left, and this is valuable gold still on the map, and it can really cement one team's lead or another team to be able to catch right back up. But we're seeing the Vi all going immediately onto Thresh, and they're going to need to try to finish this off to be able to get some value out of it, and they use a lot, but they're able to take Thresh right out of the game. 2nd death.
I do like what Max was trying to do. He did land the stun on the Rakan and the Syndra to try and stop the all-on engage after the Vi ultimate, but it really just wasn't enough. Meanwhile, I want to take show you the ADC itemization. Both ADCs are 0, 0, and 0, basically even CS. But Ezreal has finished Monamune, or Monamune, whichever one you want to prefer to say it. Meanwhile, Vayne looks like she's building Immortal Shield Bow, trying to prevent that burst, it looks like, which I think Kraken Slayer would be very well here. And Max, once again, goes down. Meanwhile, Mountain Dragon will go over to the Direwolves, and it's going to be a Cloud Rift we see, as Cloud Soul is the one they're going to be fighting over. Excuse me.
Well, looks like the Rebels wanted to send a scout in, and they decided that would be Heimer, and he saw, oh, they're taking the dragon. And, yeah, he was able to find that out, and...
I mean, you gotta send the person that's worth the least amount of gold, right?
Sure.
After dying 5 times, you're basically... you're starting to lose so much value.
Basically math at that point.
Vincent, the Rebels are down in the series. The Direwolves took game 1. So if the Direwolves win, it is over. I have chat up.
Yep. Red team, Direwolves. Right now, it appears to be Yukimoto on the Syndra, 100% kill participation, deciding to put the team on the back. It's like, guys, I want to do something else. I don't really want a game 3, so I'm just going to win this game. And appears to be doing
And
it
it's getting
quite
late.
well.
I want to go to bed. I want to end this game right now. Let me just carry you all on Syndra so we can just stop this. Already has Luden's Tempest, did buy the Dark Seal. I mean, why not? You're 6-0-1, so you can keep this momentum going, especially against Max, despite the lessening amount of gold.
I have to remind the viewers, it was the final pick, the Syndra. So
Yes, it was.
Picking, knowing exactly what the lay of the land was, knew it was against a Heimer, chose the Syndra, and it's really, really paying off for them. So winning in Champ Select are the Direwolves, at least at first glance.
Yes, indeed. But you also want to look over. You look over to where that gold lead is. It's basically all in the mid lane. Sure, there's a little bit in the support. There's a little bit top as they are going all in on Jack. Double taunt will be there, but he'll manage to get out of it. The perfect timing stopwatch comes in clutch to prevent Max from dying once again. But back to my point about the gold difference, Ezreal's actually up quite a bit over Vayne. And Ezreal is sitting on nearly 2,500 gold. That is so much towards his Trinity Force that he can basically get 2, if not all 3 parts of it. And if he wants to really greed for it all, he could probably stay in lane to get all parts of it. Meanwhile, the Rift Herald was dropped up on the top side. So, and really just permanent turret damage on the top tower, not confirming a kill. Plates were already gone. Looks like we have first and second towers probably going over in favor of the Direwolves, as Yukimoto is just going to take down this turret and get solo first tower gold.
Yeah, they got first dragon, first turret, pretty much a lot of firsts. But this game is not just about first, it's about how you finish.
Indeed.
And there, Ezreal with a good ult, not only hitting the minions, but hitting his opponents as well, and it's going to get them a little bit of respite. They might lose this bot turret when they back, but they really can't stay too much longer. As you're pointing out, Ezreal's sitting on a lot of gold, and they could call the Amumu down here to help save the turret. And
that is exactly what they're going to do. Thresh has stayed here. He has good health. He has good mana. They're going to put some pressure on. TP is going to be there. It looks like from Yuki to see if he can get some kills. The flash is not going to save John from the stun, but it will save him from any follow-up. Good flash taunt will find 2, and Yuki will go down. Huge shutdown going over to the Shen.
That was a double taunt there, hit by Shen. Big play there at the end of that to salvage it for the Rebels, who's still holding on. they've got a kill now over to Shen. One as well on Amumu. So on the top side of the map, they're starting to come back just a little bit.
That was a 650 gold shutdown bonus. So 950 gold from that one kill over to the Shen. As we look to Ezreal, he's very, very close to finishing Trinity Force. He has all 3 pieces of it. As he looks to just poke out reverse. He did. Ezreal does have the Sheen, he does have the Kindle Gem, and he does have the Phage as well. He also has the fully stacked Muramana.
So you're saying he wasn't being a goblin and he spent his money.
He will miss the stun, but the flash ult from Vi will find a kill onto Hard Rock.
Malphite though landed the double knockup with his ult, and it's going to guarantee the end of the team fight in the favor of Direwolves. Rebels have lost 2, including the jungler.
Oh,
Vi being able to take.
Oh, but they're going to get a kill back on Zoranyaga. Kujo is going to try and get out of it, but he's going to be stunned up. He didn't have flash anyway, so he basically traded at the end of that. But all in all, you got something out of it, but you also gave up a bunch more. Now, Direwolves are on Soul Point. You are looking at roughly a 24-minute Soul if the Direwolves are able to get it. While Cloud Soul is not the strongest one, all of these Cloud Drakes, if you stack them on the Rebels, are huge. Shen ult, Amumu ult, those are 2 ultimates you want online as much as humanly possible. So you really, really want to get them. It looks like Ezreal is actually not going to go for the Trinity Force. He is going to go for the Divine Sunder as well. A bit more sustained, actually. Not the worst call in the world. Plus, it gives him some bonus armor and magic pen, which he can actually use both of that. Considering that a lot of his abilities do magic damage as well.
Well, as you were saying, 3rd drag over to Direwolves, and they very well could be playing for a soul win condition.
Ooh. Look at those components Amumu has. That's a demonic embrace. That's a demonic embrace right there.
Absolutely. He is.
For those who don't know, Demonic's Embrace is actually built out of a Giant's Belt.
Yeah,
which I think is really good, especially since it gives you that burn just like Leonra's does. Maybe a little bit stronger because it gives you bonus armor and MR when enemy champions are affected by it. But it also gives you that bonus health as Panzer just gets blown up. The good stun ultimate from John. Hard Rock is trying to follow up on here. Very Wet and Sora are very, very low. But it's just going to be a 1-for-1.
And the Rebels, they're targeting the Rakan, and it's Rakan's first death, but the Direwolves were able to fight back extremely well with the Veins still up, and Syndra right around the corner. All their damage was still available. So they got to be able to knock out primarily the Syndra, but if you can't get the Syndra, get the Vayne. Got to knock one of these primary carries out of the fight as soon as possible. Because if they are doing consistent damage, you're going to be out of that team fight really fast. And now we're going to finally see, what does the Rebels comp? Like, why did they pick these series of champions? And maybe we're going to find out in the mid game.
John is looking to be in a little bit of trouble, but he's actually going to be just chunked out a little bit. Panzer, on the other hand, forced to flash out towards his team. Very, very low health, barely escaping. Stun will come on Kujo. Oh, well, there will flash to avoid the Vi Q, but you cannot dodge the Vi ultimate. But the trade is back, and that's going to be a shutdown over to Hard Rock. That Ezreal is going to be the person you want that on. But once again, a 1-for-1, but if you're the Rebels, you just got to say worth. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You keep Soranyaga out of the jungle there for just a little bit of time, and it's just going to cost you your Thresh. You can
to mention that
setting
shutdown
up around the map, and you can start pushing out some lanes and continue to get gold onto your carries. You have a 4th dragon coming up soon. You have a Baron, and you're down 4,000 gold. They can still do it. The Rebels, they're showing that they've still got a lot of fight left in them, but they're running out of time. And because of the early dragon work that the Direwolves have put in, they can have this big buff at this early time. It's coming right up, and they're already setting up for it.
One thing I also forgot to mention when talking about the Cloud Soul earlier is Cloud Soul on itself is probably the weakest of the souls, but give that to someone like Rakan, it is so much stronger. There's no way to actually predict what soul you're actually going to get. There's no way to set it up in any way, but when good situations like this happen, Cloud Soul and Rakan, it is a slightly worse match than Xayah and Rakan, which means it's a really damn good one.
But here, the setup going, Vi is all going to go right in the back. They're both targeting the Ezreal, who still hasn't gone down yet. Ezreal being
somehow he's alive!
Wow!
Somehow he's alive, but it looks like his jungler is not going to be. Max is going to get a kill onto Reverse, though. Hard Rock, it will end up falling. That's a triple kill over to the Vayne. Max will go golden, but he will go down to Zora, and it looks like that will be Cloud Soul over to the Direwolves.
Well, they had that team fight right by the dragon. We knew it was going to happen. The Direwolves just have too much power in their kit.
They have too
many
much
items.
power.
Yep.
Here's the actual power. It's the engage potential of a Vi and Malphite ultimate.
Well, they
didn't end up killing the Ezreal outright.
Nope.
But they got him low enough where he had to play so passively that he wasn't putting out so much damage. Because one auto from basically anyone on that team could have killed him.
You could tell what the call was, right? Ezreal, yeah, all right. And then Vi goes in, Malphite directly on top. And yeah, you got to see the result. That 100%.
Ooh, I like this call. I like this call a lot. They are trying to sneak Baron. There's not really... If they can... Oh.
Yep.
Reverse didn't see him. Reverse didn't see him.
No. It was a percentage.
Reverse didn't see him. So Vi back two. They're just gonna get Baron for free.
There's a percentage that someone in the Direwolves comes and wards it or walks by the river, and there you saw the play when it works out, and absolutely nobody goes by, but. That was not 100% certain at all from the.
It was 100. It still was a safe play unless all 5 members of the Rebels the Direwolves showed up and just hard engaged on them while they were on Baron. Because if someone worded it, they could just back off. There was no real risk there. They needed to get something, but it ended up working out really well in their favor. They got the play. The engage is going in. Jack is going to flash. It will not matter, though. Panzer will find him in the end, and Very Wet is going to confirm the kill. However, that is going to be a turret in the mid lane, traded for a tier 2 turret in the bot lane.
And that was Shen's first death of the game. Jack the Ripper playing quite well. Rebels team.
Oh, there's that combo coming back towards mid lane with reverse TPing in. Both Vi and Malphite have the ultimate, but they're not going to hard engage. John is going to get the good ultimate onto Yukimoto. He's dangerously low. Oh, and the Ezreal ult is going to find him. Sniped by Hard Rock.
Oh, great show.
All in all, a 1-for-1 in that set of plays. Max 2Fly is still pumping out a lot of damage, and he will find Panzer as well.
He's coming up in the end of the
game.
Hard
Rock is getting dangerous. He has 2 items. He has those Ionian boots. He has a stopwatch to deal with it. Oh, but he can't use it. It doesn't matter if he can't use it, and he will go down in the end. Stand United won't be enough. It's that combo. You need some
Under
more
turret,
as well.
And Wet being able to pick it up on the backside.
Jack is trying to get a kill onto reverse, but Very Wet is there, eating over the walls to safety, not being able to get well, relative safety. Very Wet is still going to chase him with the Vayne passive and the Cloud Soul movement speed. He's going to get the auto. And so that's going to be it. That's going to be Jack's death in the very end.
Let's not forget the fact that the Rebels did get a few key kills early on in this skirmish. So they are trading kills still, even at this point, despite down all this gold, all these items, and these dragons. They've got Baron still. It's about to run out.
Indeed. But you also got to keep in mind, this is a 6.5k gold lead. Elder Dragon is up in 2. Baron is up in 3. These are very, very important objectives. Vi just purchased QSS. Vayne finished Mortal Reminder. Ezreal still doesn't have QSS. That combo needs to be stopwatched as soon as Vi hits the R button and that targeting laser comes out. You need the Ezreal to survive. You need Peel. What I want to see built is Mikhail's from Thresh. So you can easily just promptly use it on your Ezreal, get him out of the CC, and prevent him from getting blown up.
Starting off in the jungle.
A little bit of engage on the John, not much coming out of it.
But as you were talking, I couldn't help but look at the Vayne scoreline now with 8 kills. Still hasn't died yet. Very Wet with the big 700 bounty on him.
But if Very Wet dies, that is dangerous. USS will come out for the Vayne and he will find him, and they will come back onto Moon. Reverse will take down the Ezreal and Hard Rock. And that looks like it's a 4 for nothing. And it's going to be a 5-0, and it looks like that the Direwolves are going to try and push towards the base, but they don't have the minion wave yet. Just hold your horses right now. Okay, now they have a minion wave.
They can push Inhibitor. I don't think they can finish the game just yet. The death timers are not long enough.
If they had a minion wave, they could probably get one and a half inhibitor Nexus turrets. But they're going to get inhibitor, and they're not going to get a lot of damage. But look where Vi is, and look what just spawned. Elder Dragon, baby. Vi is there, starting it off, putting in some damage. And the Rebels have to go. I don't think that they're actually going to be able to get there in time, but they have to go. They have to try and contest this. They have to try and steal this Elder Dragon. They will be there in time.
They got vision. Mumu can go over.
Thresh goes over as well. Mumu and Thresh are both there. Engages onto Thresh. Zornaga will end up finding the kill. And it's going to be stolen by the Rebels!
He did it! He did it! And he's going to land a little bit of damage here afterwards, but the Rebels, John Slicer, being able to steal that and keeping themselves in this game, taking away that powerful buff away from the Direwolves, and they're going to have a couple more team fights left in them, and let's see if they can really use this power that their jungler able to go in. Also sacrificed to Thresh, but they were both in there, and it really helped to have that second person that the other team, the Direwolves, focus on the Thresh. And he was able to buy enough time for the Mumu to stay around the Elder. And he was also calm with the smite, held it for the right time around the 700 mark, and pressed it down and took it. And then not only that, landed the 4-man ult right after to get some damage before going down.
But it's not just denying the buff to the enemy team. You know who has the buff on your team? The Ezreal, the Shen, the Heimerdinger. There are 3 Elder buffs on the field, and they are on key carry targets and Shen. But still, you can't deny that that was a huge, huge steal, extending the game out longer, hopefully getting to a point where this gold lead, yes, it's 10,000, but will it matter in the end? If it goes late enough, it doesn't matter what your gold lead is because both teams have 6 items each.
That was a flash.
Ooh, good
flash.
last-second flash from Panzer.
Yep. But right now, Reverse is on the bot lane split pushing. He has the advantage. Rebels are going to have to go back, and the Direwolves are going to stop them right now. You have the Malphite split pushing on the bottom, but the team fight is going to break out. You're having Bane going
There's
with
the
the ult, giving
stopwatch.
all kinds of damage.
There's the stopwatch from the Vile. Oh, but the Syndra ult is going to be huge. That's going to be an Elder Dragon execute. 2 of them from Max. Double kill for the Heimer, but he will fall in the end. That is a 5-4-2 in favor of the Direwolves. Just smacking them with their wallets right now. The gold lead is now 12k. They can push an inhibitor and potentially end the game. They have minions there.
Are you saying that they potentially pulled out like a big bill wad and then used that as a weapon? Something of immense value folded over many times?
Well, since it's gold, I just imagine they just take a big rucksack of gold and just beat them over the head with it multiple times.
Okay.
And that's going to be GG's. Direwolves will take the series 2-0 and move on to the Masters Finals.
Another entertaining series. These teams play each other tight every time.
Indeed, they do. Despite being down big, the Rebels were still finding advantages. It's just early game pressure from the Direwolves ended up costing them in the very end.
You got to look at the Vayne scoreline there.
13-0-8.
Finishing perfect. Did not get a lot of those kills in lane. Was mostly towards the mid game. Being able to start finishing off team fights. Getting more and more damage. And coming in at the right time. And then not going down at all. Leading the game in CS. That's the S+ rating right there. You don't need a portal professor to tell you that.
Of course not. But I also want to give a shout out to Sora. He played immensely. A backup player just showing up on the next level in this series, finding great engages on Amumu, engaging hard onto the key carry of the Rebels, and getting followed up on by Reverse, finishing with an 8-2 and 15 scoreline on Vi. Just Sora, if we did player of the match, I think my vote would be on Sora.
Excellent. Like player of the series, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, you know, there's a number of the mid laner played well. The AD carry very, very well. There was some really good recon plays. There was a really good team performance.
Reverse struggled in game 1, but he quickly turned it around in game 2 when he got that comfort. He got that Malphite. So I do believe that this was still a good series. Reminder, we still have the Grand Tournament coming up. This is just our version of regional tournaments, so we will see the Rebels once again once that rolls around.
Yep, and as you can see on the screen, it's going to be the Direwolves against the winner of Boosted Bonobos and OU Frost. And they're going to play on the 13th in 2 weeks from now. We'll be back at 8 o'clock on December 13th, getting close to Christmas. And hopefully we're going to
do have some information. I do have some information.
Do we know who won that series?
Boosted Bonobos 2-0'd OU Frost. So it's going to be the Bonobos versus the Direwolves in the Masters Finals.
There we have it.
And in the Legends Finals, due to some circumstances, I believe that it is going to be. Hold on. It's going to be Raji, MNG Rajan Storm in the finals, and I can't find where the other one is. Yes, because, and I think Golden Bears and Boosted Bonobos Academy is playing still.
Okay. Well,
I could be wrong on that.
All right.
I do want to fill in one thing about that bracket right now. The Reapers have withdrawn from the tournament, so that was filled in by Midnight Gaming Chaos, which is my team, even though we had literally half an hour warning, which is fine, but so the Reapers will not make it to the tournament. They will not make it to the Grand Tournament since they withdrew. It's going to be the Chaos as well. So that's going to be all three Midnight Gaming orgs, or Midnight Gaming teams making it to the Grand Tournament.
Wow. Well, looks like we'll be casting and you're going to be playing. So we're going to be seeing you on the other side. But we have that concludes our series, and we have the Midnight Gaming Direwolves over the Merciless Esports Rebels in one extremely close long game in game one. Could have went either way. The Rebels had a 5,000 gold lead, and then in this second game you had the Direwolves go right out to a quick lead. But the Rebels kept fighting back and even got that crazy Elder Dragon steal. And they just wouldn't go down without a fight, and fight they did.
You want to know what I think?
I think
if this was a
cheese. You're thinking of cheese. Is that what you're thinking
No.
of? No? Oh,
No.
Okay, I'm thinking of cheese.
I'm thinking if this was a best of 5 series, we would be going the distance 5 games.
Ooh. Yeah,
that's what I think. This is how close these two teams played.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's how they played throughout the season.
Let me make a quick comparison. Game 2 had a feeling of me watching the first game of FlyQuest versus Top Esports in Worlds group stage. This because I knew FlyQuest was lost that game early on. But FlyQuest kept fighting back, and I knew that there was a chance that they could win second if they faced again. I have that same feeling from the Rebels. So, if these two teams meet in the Grand Tournament, expect a banger of a match, if not a series.
Absolutely. And thank you, Stripes, for casting with me. It's
much fun.
This is Caster Rav, and we will see you next time, and definitely on the 13th for the finals on December.
See you then.